there, Nitwits! Welcome to another episode of Nittani Draws. I'm Nittani, and today I am coming at you with another haul video. Just like I said in the last video, I have not been feeling well, so I am going to film a haul video of the new Copic markers refills that I just got in the mail. I have decided that until I have a refill for every one of the markers that I already have, I'm not going to buy any more markers. And basically that's because all the markers that I have at this point are starting to die out on me. So I'm gonna spend some time and fill them up and hang out with you guys and just kind of chat. That way you guys can see kind of what it looks like to refill them. And maybe don't let yourself get as far behind as I have let myself, because it's a pretty terrible idea to get this far behind. So anyway, I like to open mine up with a nice little X-Acto blade because it's got this film over the top of it. I just slide it right underneath it and then break it, like break the seal, and then it comes off much easier. So that's what we're gonna do. This color is cotton pearl, I'm sorry. Now this color used to be called skin white. Where'd it go? There it is. So it's E00. So I have the old skin white marker, but it's still E00. The new one says cotton pearl on it. So what I do is I just refill it. It's the same color, it's just not got the same name on it anymore. So I just, fill it anyway, because why not? I'm gonna grab something here. I like to refill my markers over the top of some paper because it keeps it from making my desk look like my desk, because my desk is a train wreck. So yes, I actually already had some skin white. These are the colors, the refill colors that I already had, and I had a tiny little bit of skin white left, so I actually just ordered a new one because I knew I was going to need it anyway. So we're not going to refill this marker. I think it's pretty good right now. Yeah, it's pretty good right now. It doesn't need it. So the next one is YR000, which this is my favorite skin tone. And it's because it's not very pinky, and I tend to destroy skin tones. So YR with 3 zeros, and that is silk. That's the color. So I'm gonna fill this guy up. I know this one needs it, like bad, because I didn't have any refill for this color. Oop, I didn't do the whole thing. So what I do is I take off both ends and then just kind of dribble it inside. I know that technically they have those things where you can stick like a needle thing deep down in there and it gets it real deep into the wick and blah 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 blah, but I don't like doing all that extra work. I'm pretty good at just keeping it in there, As soon as I say that, I make a mess, of course. You in there? You're getting nice and wet. I think it is. Feels pretty good. I'll clean that off. Don't do what I do. So there we go. And then now it's nice and juicy. So I'll put that away. The next one here is Garnet. I killed this color like 3 years ago and never bought the refill. So I'm glad I finally bought the refill for it, because it's gonna mean I can do a lot more drawings. So here's Garnet. That's what it looks like, all stringy and scratchy. Blech. Nice neighbor. I love how much they honk their horn, isn't that cool? Rude! My hands are gonna look like shit in the morning. Oh well. Who cares? It's just Easter Sunday. Oh man, this looks really cool when you drip it in there. It's like thick and it's so dark and red. Looks like blood. My inner goth kid is like, yes. I'm gonna need to clean that up a little bit in a minute. It's not quite wet yet. A little bit more. Yeah, see how juicy that is? Oh, cool. Close them up. Close that up. This is exactly why you always use a paint, or use a paint. This is exactly why you always keep a napkin or something underneath it. And actually, I'm just gonna grab some cleaner. So I use those. Anyway, so here's how I like to do it. It's a little bit of isopropyl alcohol. Works very well for cleaning out caps and stuff. Make yourself a nice little reservoir. This is a dollar bottle of alcohol I get from the dollar store. Smells horrible. Tastes better. And then you just dump those in. Blech. The super nasty ones, especially. And then you just kind of do that. Helps them clear themselves out, get all the goop out. I like to let them just kind of like sit in the liquid, so I'm just going to leave them alone for a minute. But yeah, that's how I do that. We'll come back to those in a minute. And then, what's the next one we'll do? Let's do Sky, since I know this one is completely destroyed. So this one I killed doing the Alice in Wonderland illustration, and then I never bought the refill for it, so we're finally ready to get that taken care of. Look how bad it is. It's like, okay. So pull the little thing out. Pop that open. And stick that ink in there. I don't know. Talking while I do this is so hard, because every time I do, I end up like making a huge mess out of myself. No! Get in there. Dang it. See? Huge mess. Every time. So I'll just clean that off. Yeah. Now we have a nice, clean, up-to-date marker that's not coated in goo. Just general marker maintenance. Oh, maybe put the nib back on. Look how pretty that is now. I could probably even still use a little more, actually. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna put a little more in. I'm not really surprised. This thing was like dry. There we go. So yeah, I have allergies. I don't know if I told you guys. I'm pretty sure I did. But my allergy attacks hit pretty bad right around this time of year, every year. Like, this is not shocking or surprising in any way. But it is kind of exhausting. So I have been kind of taking it easy this week because of these allergies. And like, I don't sound very good in person either because of how bad they are. Like, my throat is scratchy and my ears keep popping and I just generally just sound like shit. So lately that has been my issue. So yeah. Alright, we got that one out. That one's looks pretty good. Could probably use one more rinse. Get it all full. I could probably go downstairs and grab some Q-tips and stuff too, but I don't think they're not that bad. Like, they don't really need it. So I'm not gonna. They're just not. They weren't beautiful anymore, but they're not bad now. That one's actually pretty nice. So we'll just kind of clean them out a little bit. And yeah. So just about ready. The sky blue one wasn't bad, so I'm not gonna clean them out, but let's clean that off a little bit. The darker colors just bleed so much. There we go. Nice clean stuff. So yeah. Anyway, like I said earlier, it's almost Easter. Tomorrow's Easter. My family's not super religious or anything, but we were gonna drive out to my mom's house and hang out for a little while, spend some time together. Should be fun. But oh, this one's exciting. So I was a grown-up when I bought this next set of markers. So these are 2 new markers that I do not have. And I decided that I wanted to finish off my cool gray set. Well, for now. I mean, I don't have all of the cool grays, but I have enough of them that at this point I think I could do a pretty good transition between one gray to the next and do like a full black and white drawing. So I bought C9 and C6 so that I would be able to kind of round out the set. And I bought the refill like a grown-up with it so that when I use it, it'll be all gone. And I can refill it immediately. This is the C6 one that I just bought, the marker 2 as well, so I don't actually need to fill any of that. There we go. Some more markers. C1, this is one of my favorite markers to blend with. It is a cool gray color, but it's one of the first ones on the cool gray spectrum, so it's barely visible, but it works really well to blend with other colors. I like to use it for shadows and for like white folds on fabric and stuff. Like if you have a white fabric, this works well to be the fold of the fabric. But it's like dead. So here, see? You can barely see it on the page anymore. So I'm gonna fill it up real good. This one's probably gonna need to be like filled forever. Anyway, today was like 75 degrees outside in April, which is bizarro land for Michigan. So I've had the windows open. I took a bunch of allergy pills to try to hit it off at the pass and like not feel like death, but the allergies have not been kind to me today. It's getting there. I took Allegra, I think. I can't remember. It's the one where you have to sign in order to buy it. You gotta be over 21 to buy, and you have to like show your ID and all that stuff. I guess people make meth or something out of it, but not me. I just try to survive my life because allergies are an asshole. But yeah. I haven't really drawn very much this week. I'm chalking it up to the allergies, but it's also probably because my pens were mostly dead and I didn't want to come up here and try to make an illustration without having the pens that I wanted to play with be full, because I knew I was going to be able to have them full in like 2 days if I just waited it out. So I haven't really drawn anything this week, but I can now. Round off the gray series here. This is C5, which is one of my other favorites. I actually have 2 of this marker because I use it so much, especially at conventions and shows and stuff. So I fill up both of them and bring them with me. And this is the third refill of this I've gone through, I think. But this is what it looks like on paper. It's a good, like, dark gray color, but it's not too dark. It's like right in the middle of color world, and I love it. Those ones look a little crappy on the inside, so we're gonna put them in and soak them. There we go, there we go. Bottom up. Anyway, we're coming up on my birthday in another like 2 weeks or so. I'll be 28 years old. I'm getting kind of excited about it. I don't know that I'm actually going to be doing anything for my birthday, but I am excited. I think we're just planning on hanging out. My husband and I, our birthdays are 11 days apart, which 11 is my lucky number, and we plan on having some kind of party or something. We usually do on our birthdays. We have a little joint party and get all of our friends together. And, yeah. Oh, that looks much better. Look how juicy that is. Oh, beautiful. Okay. And we can fish these out. Yeah, they look good. Good and juicy. Alright, alright. Cute. It's like that fishing game at the carnival. Did you guys just hear that sneeze in the background? That was my cat. He has terrible allergies with me, so we both take Benadryl together. Poor little guy. He's looking at me like, Mom, don't out me on the internet. Rude. I'm like, I know, right? He's sleeping on the little table right next to me. I have 3 different cats. This one is the giant fat one that usually sits on the back of my chair, but for some reason today he's feeling being next to me. I think it's because he's not feeling good. We gave him Benadryl this morning, like the liquid one, and he doesn't like the liquid one because it tastes like cherry, and he always spits it out. And he spat it all over me. So now I smell like fake cherry because he's mad at me. Ooh, get in there. Don't waste any of the marker fluid. It's so expensive. I use Otaku Fuel to buy all of mine. I don't know if you guys have ever tried to buy Copic markers before, but the shit is expensive as hell, and I am not supremely rich by any stretch of the imagination. I bought my first Copic markers by selling my plasma because I knew I wanted them, and I mean, it's worked well for me, you know. Copics have been the perfect thing for my art style because I like obnoxiously bright colors, and they're bright and they're opaque. Well, not opaque, like they're the color goes on really flat, I guess is more what I'm getting at. Like, it goes on flat and you can layer multiple colors in order to create a different look, or you can create that look with just one marker by doing like multiple layers in one area over top of it, and it will create that thing. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but I love Copic markers. They're the best thing in the whole world. They're my perfect medium, and they're expensive as hell. So I tend to put them off as long as I can to not have to pay for the refills because they're expensive. And I try not to buy new colors if I can figure out a way to like mix other colors in order to create the same color that I'm looking for, because I'm cheap have a ton of money to buy refills and stuff, so I do what I can with what I got. Yeah, let's clean it up a little bit. We're doctoring it all up today. Beautiful. The next one is YR00, companion to YR000. I tend to use this one to shade with, or for like lip tones. Makes her a really nice nude color. That's what it looks like on the page. It's a little bit orangey, but I think it's because it's a YR tone. So yellow red. But when you pair it with like a peachier or a more neutral shade in the same general color family, it turns out looking really pretty. So I like it. This one didn't need a whole lot, it was already pretty full, but I figured since I didn't have it, I needed it. And I just bought this marker too, so it shouldn't be that bad yet. Next one, this one is YG11. It's one of my favorite colors, and I used the crap out of this one for the Medusa piece. This one got eaten alive by Medusa. But it wasn't really very full when I bought it even. I think wherever I bought it from just doesn't fill up their Copics very well. Or maybe they had it out for like a trial or something, but it was not very full when I got it. So let's spend some time and some money and fill her up. The name of it is a French word and I can't pronounce it, but it's a pretty color. Making a big old mess though. Nice and juicy. Nice pretty color. It's still kind of dry, I think. I don't know if it's because it's a pastel color or what, but it still feels a little dry. Oh yeah, it's definitely because it's pastel, because I'm over here wasting ink. Fail. Ooh, or maybe, I hope it doesn't have a broken nib. I don't really want to replace the nib. Nibs are expensive. I think it's doing pretty good though. Yeah. All better. Clean off the top of it again, since I'm messy. I'm over here making a big old mess. Too much in there, but I do kind of like the chisel nib. I don't really use it very often, but I do like it. think it's Mignonette. Mignonette? Is that how you say that? I don't know. I love the color. It's beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. The next one was also killed off by Medusa. This one was the YG25 Celadon Green. This one's pretty dry. You can tell when it's dry because it ends up getting really streaky. Which is no fun because that's the whole point of using Copics, is the beautiful coverage you get with it. I love the way it lets color through, like when you're layering it. Maybe give it a second to let the rest of that get through. So tomorrow is Easter. Gosh, I'm off on a tangent today. And we actually have tickets to go see The Little Mermaid at the Power Center in downtown Ann Arbor tomorrow. So we're gonna go to that, and then after we leave, we'll go out to my mom's house and have dinner with the family, and then we'll probably head home afterward. I don't really know what else we have going on other than that. Like, I think my niece is gonna be there, which is always super fun for me. I love that little girl so much. She's so cute. So we'll probably hang out there until it's time to head home for work in the morning. I work at a bank, and we do not have tomorrow off, which is sad. Or not tomorrow, I'm sorry. We do not have Monday off. Or we didn't have Friday off either for Good Friday. So we gotta kind of cram our holidays in as much as we can into this weekend. That looks pretty clean. Nice and clean and pretty. And you can go back into the case. And then the last one that was killed by Medusa here, BG72. This was the color for her hair, which is why it got so destroyed. It was a big piece, and her hair was basically all this color. I achieved the color differences by layering the same color on top of itself instead of mixing in a different color, which made it very pretty, but it was a lot. I didn't even check to see if that one's gross. That one's fine. So BG72, which is obviously one of my favorites because I've pretty much used it in everything lately. I just got this color too. It's like a stormy blue. For some reason it reminds me of Final Fantasy VIII. I feel like all the backgrounds in that game were really stark and dark and stormy, kind of depressing, unless they were like just ridiculously cheerful. But that was one of my favorite games. It was my very first real video game that I owned. Like, technically I had a Super Nintendo, but we didn't have very many games for it. And I had never asked for that system, like it was just gifted to us by family or something. And so I was the one who actively asked for the PlayStation 1, and when we got it, the first game that we got was Final Fantasy VIII. We didn't have a whole lot of money, so getting a video game was actually kind of exciting for us. and I played it as much as my parents would let me, which was admittedly not all that often because I was a pretty good student and I tended to have a lot of homework because I was in like honors classes and stuff. So yeah, if they could only see me now, right? Sitting here playing with markers instead of being a business leader or something. I mean, I guess I'm still a business leader. I own my own business, but I'm not like on Wall Street or anything. Which I guess is kind of what we thought I was going to be doing. We all kind of thought that I was going to go off and move somewhere fancy and do something fancy, but I am a lot happier doing this. I went to school for it. I went to college for business, but it just wasn't my thing. Well, business was my thing, but not. I didn't want to work for somebody else. I don't want to work for somebody else's dream. I want to work for my own. So I'll just chill here. The next one is R20, which I was really surprised I didn't actually have this one, because this is one of the colors that I use a lot of. And I actually have 2 of them to fill up. So, cool. I love the way the ink looks when it pours out. It's so pretty. It's like see-through. It looks like watercolor water. Like when you're emptying your paintbrushes out, you know? I love the way it looks. Like jewels if they had been made into liquid. Maybe a little more. But like I was saying, I was a very poor kid and didn't have a whole lot of money. Even when I was in college, I didn't have very much money, and so I bought my first Copic markers after selling my plasma at a plasma center in my town. And I fell in love with them. And I'm glad that I did it. I mean, no, it's not great that I literally was selling my body in order to do things, like selling parts of my body. But I think I probably learned a lot about myself during that time period. That I was like, I really was willing to literally throw myself away in order to be an artist, instead of going off and going to New York or something and doing business there, which is what I had thought I wanted to do. And I learned a lot about myself, and I realized that is not something I want, even a little bit. I would rather sell parts of my body and be a little bit broke, but also be happy. So that's what I chose to do. And not long after is when I started my YouTube channel. I recorded that one video and then I stopped recording for a couple of years. So I recorded Persephone of the Flowers. That was my very first video I recorded for YouTube. And then I hate her. Like, she is my least favorite video I've ever made. I hate that drawing so freaking much. And she's still one of my top sellers. But I really hate her. I hate her so much. She's horrifyingly ugly. She's got fish lips and I don't know, just don't like her. But she was my first YouTube video, technically speaking. But I came back a couple years later, and that's when I made the Dark Fae, I think is what it's titled, but it was a Fae from a book series I was working on, and that was when I did her, and I'm counting her as my first video back on YouTube. And I still have the original for that. I don't think I'll ever sell it because it's kind of a big part of my history at this point. It was my first YouTube video. Lego my ego. The next one is Mallow. And it's also the last one. I don't have very many purple markers. And the ones that I do have are just sad and dirty. Almost done. So I guess I'll start closing it down here. I don't usually do a whole lot of these art and chat videos, but they're kind of fun. And especially when I'm not feeling well, they're a nice, relaxing way for me to stay consistent and chat with you guys and like be available without having to like, I don't know, make myself sicker by coming out of my world and like making a big video or something, because a lot of the videos take a long time to make and they're very labor intensive. And this was nice and relaxing, and I didn't have to think too hard or work too hard, which is nice when I'm not feeling well. Come on now. Made a big old mess on this one. Nice. I'm like, ooh, it's the last one. Let's just destroy it. Great. It's another one of the darker color ones too, so that's probably contributing. But the darker the ink, the more it just like smears all over itself. Oh yeah, that still looks like shit. Still super streaky. I think that's probably because like half of that didn't even get into the marker. So, anyway guys, I'm gonna close it down here, getting ready to go downstairs and have some dinner. It's 7 o'clock. I try to go downstairs at 8 every day, so I can actually see Lee every once in a while. And, yeah, I'm gonna close it down, but if you want to see more of what I actually do, like see my drawings and that sort of thing, make sure to subscribe to the channel. I'm sure you've heard this from every other YouTuber in the world, but thank you for watching, because it actually helps me out a ton. Every time somebody watches, every time somebody watches all the way through the video, like not clicking off of it in the middle, because that kind of screws the pooch for us. And when you like the video, it moves us up in the search results. When you comment on the video, it improves my active audience something or other. I don't remember what it's called, but every time you do anything on my channel, like interact with me in any way, it improves my placement, which is always awesome, because someday I want to be able to quit my day job and do this full time. Maybe not necessarily YouTubing, but just illustration and all the little side projects that come with it. So someday I'll be able to be a full-time artist, and it'll be because of the support of people like you, whoever you out there are. Maybe you should introduce yourself below and tell me who you are. What do you do? What is your medium? What do you like about art? What do you like about Copic Markers? Who are you? Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for hanging out with me, and you have a great day. Bye!